I decided to do my art presentation project on Cubism. The Cubism art movement started in 1907 and ended in 1922. The two main founders of this art movement are George Braque and Pablo Picasso. Cubism art was known to be one of the first abstract styles of modern art. Cubism is considered to be like standing on top of a mountain and looking around, kind of like a point of view. It also ignores the traditions of perspective drawings and shows you many views at one time. This example of Cubism art is called Weeping Woman by Pablo Picasso. Cubists also tend to explore open form, letting the spaces flow through them. They also kind of blend more in with the background into a type of foreground which is seen better. This painting is by Pablo Picasso and is called Still Life with Mandolin and Guitar. This painting is a comparison between Pablo Picasso's painting Head of a Woman and A Day in Mask from West Africa. The Cubists valued the African artwork and their expressive style. They viewed them as subversive elements that could be used to attack their tradition of Western art. An influence that led to Cubism was the representation of three-dimensional art form in the late works of Paul Cézanne. This painting is an example of one of his works called Biblihumus Quaere that was painted in 1895. He was not interested in illusion in his paintings, he saw it more as an abstract and arrangement of color. This painting is called Still Life with Open Window by Juan Gris. Still life was considered one of the most popular themes in the Cubism art movement. Still life with open window contains traditional objects associated with life. The objects are hit with electric light which contrasts the moonlight seen outside the window. This bright, interesting painting is called Electric Prisms, and it was the most interesting work that I did research on. Sonia Delhunier used geometric forms and a flat perspective to show visual manipulation of their subject. Looking at this painting, you can see there is spheres to represent an idea of overlap. Circles are also seen in the painting. This painting is called Violin and the Candlestick by George Braque in 1910. This painting was painted with neutral browns and grays that flatten out the space. George Braque also analyzed the subject from many different viewpoints and reconstructed it with a geometric framework. Still Life with Chair Canning by Pablo Picasso reintroduces color and goes further into experimentation with multiple perspectives. This painting opened up the eyes to him and other artists about the second phase of the synthetic painting. George Braque's painting The Bowl of Grapes was a cubist art that was painted in 1926. George Braque uses mainly dark colors in this painting, but then he breaks it up with using some light color to outline certain parts of some images in the painting. Duck's Nuss is an early cubist painting by the artist Jean Metzinger between the years 1910 and 1911. Another name for this painting would be Two Nudes, Two Women. Jean used a concept of mobile perspective to portray objects from a variety of angles. The models are captured from multiple viewpoints in the canvas. Three Musicians is one of Pablo Picasso's later works and happens to be an example of synthetic cubism. It's kind of hard to see where each musician ends and the next begins. This could be a representation of harmony as the musicians play together. This painting is the portrait of Picasso by Juan Gris. In this painting, Gris shows a tribute to Pablo Picasso. The colors in this painting would be light blues and browns. Cubism works are obviously paintings where figures come together. However, this painting you can see where the lines come in but can still see the outline of his facial features. Three Women was a painting by the artist Fernand Legner and happens to be one of his most popular paintings. The subject matter of the three naked women is considered the most traditional. This painting is known to be called a return to order as they retreated from World War I experiments. The Seashore by Jean Metzinger is a very interesting artwork. If you look closely at the bottom right, you will see three figures laying on the sand enjoying a normal beach day. There is also a sailboat in the ocean that is an important symbol. Jean Metzinger did a good job contrasting the bright colors together to where it wasn't as bright. There are different styles that make up Cubism art movement. The styles are called Cezanne, Analytic, Synthetic, and Crystal Cubism. They are based on the work of Pablo Picasso and George Braque. Crystal Cubism is a distilled form of Cubism with a shift between 1915 and 1916. It tends to have a strong emphasis on a flat surface with overlapping figures. Jean Metzinger was an artist who practiced Crystal Cubism, and above is pictured one of his examples called Woman with a Hat. Cezanne Cubism was between the years 1908 and 1909. Paul Cezanne was the founder of this movement, and artists were introduced for the first time to the work of his. They were very influenced by his lack of 3 dimension, his brushwork, and his use of uniform brushstrokes. Analytic Cubism was from 1910 to 1912, and Cubism developed a high semantic fashion. This style was based on close objects in the background of context, showing various vantage points. An example of this type of Cubism would be Pablo Picasso's Mod Holy as shown above. Synthetic Cubism is the later phrase, probably around 1912 to 1914. Synthetic Cubism is usually more simple than the others because the artists use simpler shapes and brighter colors. Juan Gris is painting The Sun Blind is an example of this type of movement.